Level 1. The Recruit. You are not 7. You are not even a number. You are a probationary candidate in a program that officially doesn't exist. Training in a facility that officially closed in 1963. The facility is a converted RAF bunker in the Scottish Highlands, accessible by a single-track road that winds through peat bogs and perpetual drizzle. The bunker smells of damp wool, cordite, and the institutional despair of generations of trainees who washed out before you. Your instructors are ghosts, a former Royal Marine with a scar that bisects his face, a Polish émigré who teaches lockpicking and silent killing in a soft Warsaw accent, a woman from GCHQ who can crack a 256-bit encryption key with a laptop and a disturbing amount of patience. They don't give you names. They give you skills. The training is 6 months of refined brutality. You learn to fire 17 different weapons platforms, to field strip and reassemble them blindfolded, to make a kill shot at 800 meters in a crosswind. You learn tradecraft, dead drops, brush passes, surveillance detection routes, the art of following a target through a crowded city without being seen. You learn to resist interrogation. Your instructors use techniques that are technically illegal under the Geneva Convention, and you spend 1 week in a mock cell, sleep-deprived, half-starved, being screamed at in a language you don't understand. You learn that your breaking point is further than you thought. You learn that everyone has a breaking point. The psychological evaluation is constant, invasive, and silent. Every interaction, every reaction, every moment of hesitation or anger or fear is noted in a file that you will never see. The evaluators are looking for something specific, not just competence, not just resilience, but a particular kind of emptiness, a willingness to be alone, a capacity for moral flexibility that doesn't tip into psychopathy. You are being shaped into a weapon, and a weapon must have no attachments, no loyalties beyond the mission, no self beyond the service. Your mother dies during your 5th month of training. A stroke, sudden, your sister's voice cracking on the phone, and you are given 48 hours of compassionate leave. You attend the funeral in a black suit, standing in the rain, and you do not cry. Your sister looks at you like she doesn't recognize you. She's not wrong. Asterisk level 2. The Double H candidate. The final test is not a test, it's a mission. You are deployed to a real operation, a real target, a real risk of death. The target is a freelance intelligence broker in Vienna who has been selling MI6 secrets to the highest bidder. Chinese, Russians, the occasional corporate client with deep pockets. Your orders are to infiltrate his network, identify his buyers, and neutralize him. Neutralize is a word that does a lot of heavy lifting. You know what it means. You've known since the bunker. Vienna in December is a Christmas card from a city that doesn't know. A war is being fought in its coffee houses and opera halls. The air smells of roasted chestnuts, mulled wine, and the diesel exhaust of the trams that rattle through the Ringstrasse. You're operating under a legend, a Canadian art dealer, with a gambling problem and a taste for information brokering, and the broker takes the bait. You spend 6 weeks cultivating him, drinking whiskey in his apartment overlooking the Danube, pretending to be interested in the stolen NATO deployment schedules he's offering for $200,000. You learn his routines, his security, his vulnerabilities. The vulnerability is a mistress in the 16th district, a ballet dancer who doesn't know he's married and wouldn't care if she did. You wait outside her apartment on a Thursday night, the snow falling in soft, silent curtains, and when he steps out at 2 a.m., you put a single .22 round into the back of his skull. The suppressor makes the sound of a polite cough. The body drops into a snowbank, the blood a black stain, spreading like a rose blooming in reverse. You walk away. You don't look back. You feel nothing. You report to London the next morning. M reads your after-action report, looks up at you over the rims of her reading glasses, and says, "Congratulations, 07. The previous holder of that number retired rather suddenly. Try not to do the same. You're now a 00 agent. You have a license to kill. The license is not a privilege, it's a sentence. Asterisk level 3. The active agent. The missions come faster now. You are a scalpel, deployed to the places where diplomacy fails and military intervention is too loud. Your first year as 007 takes you to 6 countries. A defector extraction in Minsk, a surveillance operation in Macau, an assassination in Tripoli, a sabotage mission in a shipyard outside Shanghai that ends with a container ship on fire, and 3 dead Chinese intelligence officers and a diplomatic incident that is officially blamed on faulty welding. You are very good at your job. You are starting to wonder if your job is the problem. The toll is physical. You've been shot. Once in the left shoulder, a through and through that missed the subclavian artery by 2 millimeters. The scar is a puckered star of pink tissue that aches when it rains. You've broken 3 ribs, 2 fingers, and a collarbone. You've been concussed so many times that the medical staff at headquarters have started giving you the neurological baseline test as a joke, and you pass it every time, and the joke is not funny. You drink more than you should, vodka martinis, the Bond cliche, because the cliche is armor, because the cliche is expected, because if you're going to be a myth, you might as well look the part. The drinking doesn't help. The drinking makes it worse. You drink anyway. The women are part of the job. Some are assets, some are targets, some are fellow agents from allied services who understand the loneliness because they share it. You've learned to compartmentalize, to treat intimacy as a tactical resource, to deploy charm and vulnerability with the same precision you deploy a knife. The compartmentalization is eroding. There was an agent from the DGSE, a woman named Camille, who worked with you on the Marseille operation, a joint takedown of an arms trafficking ring. And you woke up next to her on the last morning and felt something you hadn't felt in years. You left before she woke up. You haven't contacted her since. You think about her more than you'd like to admit. M once told you that the 00 program has a 100% divorce rate and a 0% marriage rate among active agents. The numbers are not statistics, they're a prophecy. Asterisk level 4, the veteran. You've held the 07 designation for 8 years. The average career span of a 00 agent is 4. You are an anomaly, a survivor, a walking accumulation of scar tissue and classified memories. You've completed 37 missions. You've killed 42 people, give or take the ones where the body count was ambiguous. You've saved thousands of lives. A hijacked airliner, a bioweapon lab in the Caucasus, a bomb under the Thames during the Queen's Diamond Jubilee. You've also lost people. A fellow agent in Prague, an asset in Bangkok, who was tortured for 3 days before they killed her. A station chief in Nairobi, who was a mentor and a friend, and whose funeral you couldn't attend because your presence would have been a security breach. You sent flowers under a false name. The card said, "From an old friend." You wrote it yourself. M calls you to her office. The office is unchanged. Same desks, same leather chair, same portrait of the Queen on the wall, but M has aged. The silver hair is now white, the glacial eyes rimmed with red, the hands that sign death warrants showing the faint tremor of age or stress, or both. She tells you that you're being promoted, not out of the field. You've made it clear you'll never accept a desk, but to a senior agent status, a designation that comes with increased autonomy, a higher security clearance, and access to the programs that even most 00s don't know exist. She hands you a file. The file is red. The red files are the ones that don't officially exist even within the section that officially doesn't exist. Read it here, she says. It doesn't leave this room. You read it. The file contains information about a mole in the service, a traitor at the highest level, someone who has been selling secrets since before you were recruited. The investigation has been ongoing for 15 years. The suspects include 3 former chiefs of station, a deputy director, and a name that makes your blood stop. The previous 07, the man whose number you inherited, The man who supposedly retired to a cottage in Cornwall. He didn't retire, he defected, and MI6 has been covering it up for a decade. You close the file. You look at M. She looks back at you, and for the first time in 8 years, you see something in her eyes that isn't steel. It's fear. Find him, she says, and do what needs to be done. Asterisk level 5, the hunter. The trail takes you to Istanbul, to Vienna, to a private bank in Zurich, to a safe house in the Swiss Alps, where the previous 007. His name is Charles. You've learned Charles Ferrers, a man whose photograph is still on the wall of the training bunker as an example of excellence, has been living under a false identity for 11 years. The Swiss safe house is a chalet overlooking a frozen lake, the kind of place where war criminals and disgraced intelligence officers go to fade into comfortable obscurity. You approach on foot, through the snow, a suppressed pistol in your hand. You don't call for backup. You don't notify headquarters. This is personal, though you can't articulate why. Charles Ferrers is not your enemy. You've never met him. But he wore your number, and he betrayed it, and the number is all you have. You find him in the study, sitting by a fire, reading a leather-bound edition of Gibbon's Decline and Fall. He's in his 60s now, silver-haired, distinguished, the same sharp cheekbones and cold eyes that you see in your own mirror. He doesn't look surprised when you walk in. He looks relieved. I wondered when they'd send someone, he says. I hoped it would be you. He pours you a whiskey. You don't drink it. He tells you his story. The mole hunt, the cover-up, the fact that he didn't defect. He was burned deliberately by someone inside the service who needed a scapegoat. The mole is still there, he says. They've been manipulating you from the start. M isn't the enemy. M is a pawn. The enemy is above M. The enemy is the man who signs M's budget. He gives you a name. The name is on the list in the red file, one of the 3 former chiefs of station. The name is a man who is currently a senior advisor to the Prime Minister. The name is a man you've met, shaken hands with, received commendations from. You believe Charles Ferrers. You don't know why. Maybe because he's looking at you the way you look at yourself in the mirror after a bad mission. Maybe because you've always known, somewhere in the part of your brain that processes paranoia, that the service was never clean. You lower the gun. You sit down. You drink the whiskey. You and Charles Ferrers talk until dawn. 2 ghosts comparing scars, 2 numbers sharing the same curse. When you leave the chalet, he's still alive. You file a report that says the target was not found, the trail is cold, the investigation is ongoing. It's your first lie to the service. It won't be your last. Asterisk level 6, the shadow director. You are 39 years old. Your body is a museum of trauma. Your left knee needs replacement surgery. Your liver enzymes are elevated. Your hearing is damaged. The result of a proximity blast in Damascus that killed 2 of your team and left you with a permanent ringing in your right ear. You've been promoted 1 final time. You are now a shadow director, a position that doesn't appear on any org chart. You no longer run missions. You run the people who run missions. You brief new 00 candidates in the same bunker where you trained, and you look at their faces. Young, hungry, terrified, empty, in the way the service requires. And you see yourself, and the reflection is unbearable. The mole hunt is over. The traitor was arrested quietly, no publicity, no trial. Just a transfer to a facility in the Scottish Islands that doesn't have an address. The evidence you gathered, the classified files you copied, the testimony of a dead man whose body you found in the Swiss chalet 6 months after your conversation. Charles Ferrers was executed, finally, by the very man he helped you expose, was enough. You didn't feel triumph. You felt tired. You feel tired all the time now. The job has taken everything from you. Your body, your relationships, your capacity for anything resembling normal human connection. Camille, the French agent, sent you a wedding invitation 3 years ago. You didn't RSVP. You still think about her. You still think about a lot of things. You sit in your office, in the Whitehall building, the door marked Universal Exports. Senior Consultant, and you sign off on mission authorizations and casualty reports, and the letters to the families of agents who will be buried under headstones that don't bear their real names. You are the last link in a chain of secrets that stretches back to the Cold War and forward into a future you won't live to see. The New 07. A woman, former Royal Navy, the same background as you, the same hunger, the same emptiness, knocks on your door. She's holding a red file. She asks you a question about a mission in the South China Sea. You answer her question. You watch her leave. You pour a whiskey you won't drink. The office is quiet. The rain is falling on Whitehall. You are the legend now. The ghost in the machine. The number that outlives the man. You are 007. You always were. You always will be. You just wish it had meant something different.